than 24 hours after reports came out that the Jets were looking to trade Le'Veon Bell, New York instead cut the two-time All-Pro. Bell only averaged 3.3 yards a carry since signing a 4-year, $52 million contract with the Jets last year. In a team statement, the Jets said they believed it was the best interest of both parties. So, Shannon, would you want him on your team at any price?
Yeah, good.
Really? Okay.
Two different locations, it's the same thing.
Yep.
Skip, I don't care how talented you are, if at some point in time, your employer is going to get tired of you taking shots at them.
Yep.
And I get that you're not happy. Adam Gase is probably going to be the next one out the door because they're moving players. And it's, you know, obviously this player's been disgruntled and you want to get him out of the building. But the problem is that Adam Gase never wanted him in the building. And so it built up a bad blood. And once you know that as a player, Skip, you know someone doesn't want you there. It's hard for you to take a liking to them. He didn't want him. He wanted offensive line to protect the quarterback. The general manager wanted a big-time running back. That was a conflict. A month, 2 months later, the general manager's gone. Now the head coach is stuck with a player that I'd never wanted to begin with. Skip, he hasn't been the same. I mean, you look at it, he has 0 100-yard games in 17 games, 175-yard games, and only 4 games in which he's averaged 4 yards per carry. That's not Le'Veon Bell. I don't really know how much. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how much he has left in the tank, Skip, because he had a couple of seasons. His last couple of seasons in Pittsburgh, he went to a magical number. He had over 400 touches. Skip, normally when guys get to those numbers, there have been very few guys that can get to those numbers and ever be the same player again. Now, Eric Dickerson went to those numbers a couple of times, but Skip, we're talking about a transcendent running back. I don't look at Le'Veon Bell as a transcendent running back. You look at, I wrote some, Larry Johnson. You look at when he went to those historic numbers and look what he did the following year. You look at
Herman Edwards.
For Herman Edwards. You look at Eddie George, DeMarco Murray, our Terrell Davis, Jamal Anderson. Look at what some of these guys, when they got to those big milestones, 380, 390, 400 touches in a season. Look what they did the following seasons and subsequent seasons after that. Skip, it played out in a very similar fashion in Pittsburgh. Skip, we don't know the rumbling, but I just thought it was odd that a guy that was in the locker room for people that teammates come out so forcefully against a player.
The Steelers.
In support of a team. And now, I get it. Maybe you want more touches. Maybe they're not using you appropriately. But, bruh, you can't keep speaking out against the team in a negative fashion. Skip, for someone to say, you know what? We owe you $6 million on next year's salary. We still owe you this year. We would rather pay you to go sit home and not be in our presence than have you in our presence and possibly help us. Skip, that speaks volumes. Because businesses don't normally play. Skip, sometimes coaches will keep coaches on or keep staff. I ain't paying you to go home. You gonna come. I don't want you here, but you gonna work for this money. They say, nah, go ahead and go. We'll just pay you to go somewhere else, and if you get picked up, so be that. But we don't want you here in our presence. Nah, Skip, I'm good.
On this one, I am completely with you. More trouble than worth. Once a very good back who could also catch it and run with it. He ran with it in a unconventional way I'd never seen before, where he did tiptoe, and he waited and he waited. He showed incredible patience, and then he'd hit a hole and he hit it hard.
Skip, remember, Skip, we had a discussion. I said, Skip, he the best back in football.
There was a moment. There were about 15 minutes when he was. And then he fell completely apart with the bedrock Pittsburgh Steelers. And it wasn't just the defense that was complaining about him. It was his offensive line. They threw him under 10 buses.
They did.
And it started with the center, Marquise Pouncey, who said, honestly, he's a little selfish. It's Le'Veon over the Steelers. Then Ramon Foster said, in the ultimate team sport, we've created a league of individuals. Here's a guy who just doesn't give a damn, meaning about us and the Steelers. A guy who said Ramon Foster makes 7 times as much as I do and twice as much as Al Villanueva makes. He even went money on him. And as you always say, you don't mess with a teammate's money publicly. That was a quote to the reporters covering the Steelers.
Correct.
That's how upset they were. That's how angry they were. That's how much they were done with him. So what did he do? He had the tag sitting right there. We're going to talk about Dak here in just a minute.
Right.
But here comes a tag, and that was 14.5, pretty good money.
Right.
And he said, nope, I'm good. I'll sit. So he ignored the tag, and he sat for a year because he knew the Jets are sitting there or somebody's going to be out there giving him the big money. And they did. They gave him a lot of money. They gave him $52 million for the 4 years.
Yeah. And he's already got, what, 27 of it?
Yep, he has. 27 guaranteed. So you're good to go.
Right.
So I hope he's, quote unquote, set for life, because that's
And
the
he
kind of
played
money.
1 year under the franchise tag in Pittsburgh,
He did.
which is about
he did.
12.
Good point. Very good point. So he comes to the Jets, and listen to these numbers. In these 2 years with the Jets, he's averaged 3.3 yards per carry. That ranks 48th out of 49 backs. As a receiver, he's averaged just under 7 yards per reception. That's 125th out of 132. That's not good.
No.
And even if you factor in yards that you should have gained given your blocking, where it's factoring in how good or bad your blocking is, he should have produced 110 rushing yards per game, and he didn't. So he's way below that. He was a bust for the Jets.
Yeah.
And he's been a bust for the league, because I'm going to remind you, they tried to trade him a year ago at the trade deadline. No takers.
Right.
They obviously desperately shopped him this time.
Right.
No takers.
With Skip, he's guaranteed $6 million on next year's salary.
Okay.
I'm not giving you a sixth rounder. I'm not giving you a seventh rounder.
No.
I'm just gonna wait, because I know, Skip, anytime you call me and say, hey man, I got this car for sale. Well, I know you want to sell it. Why am I gonna give you what the first price you throw out there if I know you want to sell something?
Yep.
They know you want to trade the guy. Why am I gonna give you anything?
Yep.
I'll just sit back, wait till you cut him, and then if that's something I want to explore, I'll deal with him directly. But I'm not giving up you anything. Skip, look, the Jets aren't very good. They're not very good. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. And I think the thing was that he wanted to go somewhere, but that's the risk that you run in free agency, Skip. Sure, I would love to go to a team that just came out winning the Super Bowl and they got a ton of money, Skip, and they want to bring me in. But that's not normally how it works. In free agency, it's normally the teams that didn't do very well the year before that have the most money.
Yep.
And they're the one that normally lines up and sign the big-time free agent. But you understand that going in. So hopefully he gets to a situation now that he's a free agent again, that he can say, you know what? What's important, Skip, it's going to come down to what's important to you. Are you trying to win, or are you trying to think you're going to go out there and rush for 1,400 yards? Because I don't believe that's going to happen.
So as a Jet, he had one period where he gained some weight, which was a red flag.
Right.
He had a period where he's been hurt a little bit, had a hamstring issue, red flag. And then he even admitted to the Jets reporters that he got complacent, which was a big red flag. So he got his money, and he just sort of put it in neutral a little bit, okay? So...
But the really great one, Skip, is that you look at Aaron Donald, and you watch him play. He say, Rams, y'all underpaid me. He goes out there. You look at Russell Wilson. You look at the guys that it means something to. And this is why it's so hard for players in the NFL to get, because they take what he said and they make it applicable to everybody. They say, well, we pay him this money, he gonna rest on his laurels. Why would you ever say that publicly, Skip? Even if you think that, like, man, I got this money, I'm chill, I'm cool. Why would you voice that publicly when you know, Skip, this is a copycat league, and that's how they view it? Say what you want to say about Tom Brady. Say what you want to say about the greats. But when they accomplish and they get paid, the drive that they have to show that I'm underpaid. You really should be paid. I gave you a discount. Even though you're paying me $25, $35, $40 million a year, I really should be making 60. And I'm going to go show you. He get paid. He holds out, turns down $14 million, gets paid. And he gets paid, and what does he do? He gets fat, and he rests on his laurel.
He did.
What you did in Pittsburgh, Skip, how does that help me with the Jets? That's what guys need to understand. When you become a free agent, what you accomplished at your previous location, now the slate's clean. You come in with a blank slate. What you going to do for the Jets?
I got it. Which brings me to Le'Veon on social media. It can make you a star. It can make you unsignable. He lives on social media. He complains about the Jets on social media. He complained about the Steelers on social media. After a while, you're going to self-destruct on social media because at some point, the executives who run these teams are going to say, I don't want that headache.
Skip, but you're seeking validation from people that can offer you nothing.
That is correct.
But false praise.
Yep.
They don't own a team. Yeah, Le'Veon, you right. They gassing him up. They got him boosted up. And he's steady, he liking tweets that's critical of the Jets. He's liking tweets that's critical of Adam Gates. Okay, if you don't like the head coach, I get it.
So do I.
I get it.
Yep.
We don't like everybody we work with, and that's not a requirement.
Yep.
But, bruh, unless you're going to own your own team or you're going to own your own business, there's only so much that an organization or a business will tolerate before they get your butt up out of there. And they say they will tolerate you until they can replace you. Well, I don't even know if they got a replacement, but they couldn't tolerate him anymore. They say, we done.
And he's wanted to be a rapper, stage name Juice. And, you know, he's pretty good. But if you want to do that, you can't do it at the expense of your football.
No.
So if he's not careful, he might just have a full-time career as a rapper.
Dame raps. It doesn't affect this game.
No, it does not.
Dame probably got a basketball somewhere. Dame probably shooting hoops. Dame probably working on this game.
Probably is. So will anybody give this man a shot? I assume the Bears might be desperate enough because they lost Tarek Cohen. You know, and maybe because they're on the fringe of being they look like they could be a wild card team. And I look at the Chiefs, and they've got Edwards-Helaire, who's had 7 shots inside the 5 and can't get in the end zone. He's not a banger.
No, Skip. He's a nice little change of pace guy. I wonder if Jerry still wished he had drafted him in the 2nd round. I'm just throwing that out there.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think this thing, Skip, he's a great change of pace. You can throw it to him, he can catch it. And I would watching him, I was like, he's going to be a problem inside the 5 because he's not a guy that can plunge the ball into the end zone.
You're right.
So it's going to be very interesting. They might be interested, but Kansas City needs defense. They don't. Their running back is the least of their problem. They need somebody that can help get to the quarterback and cover on the back end.
So I think we agree on the bottom line, more trouble than worth.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
You're good. That's saying a lot from you guys. Could this be a wake-up call for him? I mean, at this point, maybe it's too late. It is a mess for the Jets right now. I want to move on to the latest with the Cowboys and